Come on, let's go really up. Down chilling with the homies that'll really go. Got a bad chicken in me. What the f going on? Better bring her up. While you looking like a snap, put you in a car fight. Like, better get the f up. Bought another round, cause you get a f up. I'ma put you in the dirt, cause I ain't gonna find you a bam. Yo, go on, nigga, come on, let's go really up. Yo, come on, let's go really up. I'ma put you in the dirt. Come on, let's go really up. Yo, come on, let's go really up. I'ma hit the jerk. Come on, let's go really up. Yo, come on, let's go really up. I'ma put you in the dirt. Come on, let's go really up. Yo, come on, let's go really up. I'ma hit the jerk. Come on, let's go really up. But I just wanna hit the bar, I just wanna be the best, I just wanna get up. I ain't never trusted anybody else in my love. Yo, I don't go, bitch, I just wanna go. You know I'm on the road, bitch, I'm making so much cash, I can't see the fuck. Yeah, 0 to 100, you know I'm about to blow. John Cena, you better hide your fucking face. Use a motherfucker, days in every place. Use a vape, but you better get it safe, cause I'm fitting here, I'm late, cause I'm fitting here safe. In Tokyo, with an all green free, no deckers. JDM cars, but you know I'm fucking retro. If you wanna fucking take it to my bedroom, pop a fucking bean and I ain't talking bento. City lights, but you know I'm in a trance. She's a fucking toss, so I drop my pants. When it got, she got all of my songs, yo, took it to the bed, yeah, she's really hard. Yo, come on, let's go really hard. I'ma put you in the dirt, come on, let's go really hard. Yo, come on, let's go really hard. I'ma hit the fucking jerk, come on, let's go really hard. Yo, come on, let's go really hard. I'ma put you in the dirt, come on, let's go really hard. Yo, come on, let's go really hard. I'ma hit the fucking jerk, come on, let's go really hard.
Are we here? Are we live? We're fucking live. We're doing it. We're doing it live. All right. So right now, we're just trying to I'm trying to figure out what the fuck do we do to like actually get into the debate. So while we're waiting on that, we're gonna watch the debate.
Judge based off of
We're gonna see what's happening.
You would have fucking hammered down that point, and that you did make the modernization of the household without seeking to destroy nuclear families. We're seeking to modernize it, but I think those are the only.
We're talking about red pill in the nuclear family. Well, we're not talking about it. They're talking about the red pill and nuclear family. So should be a fun night.
And instead of reiterating your point, you kind of attacked the red pill and then went into your point again, but it was it was just a quick mention, and you went off on the red pill again. I think he was baiting you into things, maybe intentionally, maybe not, to get you off your game. And in a lot of places it worked. Like you had some strong arguments, you just never hammered home enough.
Well, I do appreciate your criticisms, Tyler.
Anson.
Yeah, so, you know, Mel, when Glenn cammed up, you missed a golden opportunity to point out that with them Dumbo ears, he couldn't hear the arguments you were making, but he was picking up these alien transmissions from somewhere that was giving him some sort of clairvoyance to make his arguments. So you missed, because he's got them huge fucking flapping ears, right? Come on, man. Now, you got to add some comedy into it. Now, in terms of scoring, Glenn obviously spanked you 14 points. You only had 9 points, Mel. You know, if you would have made me laugh a little bit, I might have scored you better.
Oh, okay. And Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Glenn on that one. It was really close though. I had it like basically even at the end. I do think that getting baited was the one flaw. I think that cost you, Mel. But otherwise, yeah, that was close. That could have gone either way. I'm gonna go with Glenn.
Okay. So, anybody want to make comments, observations? For those of you who are new, by the way, at the end, feel free to say, "Hey."
You think I'm a fan of either?
You know, Mel.
So, Grid, for the sake of judging and full disclosure,
Glenn
Patrick is one of my best friends in real life.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Who said that?
Anson.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
How's it looking on the
keep that in
stream?
mind
Let's go
when
ahead
we're
and fix this on the stream.
Maybe I'll make you debate him. Maybe that's what I'll do.
That totally one unbiased judge, completely unbiased, not biased at all judge. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's completely unbiased, actually.
Just
I've
gotta
heard that.
fix
I know, I'm
this.
being
Gotta
sarcastic.
move it all
We
nice
have,
and
we have Beth is wanting Patrick
just like this.
versus
There we go.
Lethe. Patrick,
There's a lot of
I ask you what
motherfuckers
your
on this
positions
panel.
are?
You did.
I did. Okay, good. All right.
Oh shit! I didn't even see Leafy here. I remember you.
Leafy is here. In fact, Leafy is here.
Debated on your Discord, red pill stuff last time.
Okay. Welcome, Avius. I did see you. You're muted right now, I think.
Yeah, I muted myself. I was talking to stream.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're since we already have a debate, and we're going to have Patrick going against Lethe. Anson, are you going to recuse yourself? And do I need to have Cleaner judge this one?
I mean, I can be fair, but he is like one of my best friends, so it'll be hard for me to be unbiased.
It'll be Cleaner, Gibbs, and Tyler will be the judges for this one.
Sure.
So it's always good to have the CIA involved when we're judging. So that's good.
Nice recusal, Jeff Sessions.
Hey, I'm related to Jeff.
Anson just keeps winning. All right. Everybody else, you're going to go hang out in the back, watch, and have a good time. I know you don't get to spend just a ton of time on the screen.
All right, so we get to watch like cucks for a little bit. Hello, Saba. It is so good to see you in chat. I'm so fucking happy to see Saba. That is one of my favorite people to see in chat. Good to see you, sir. The fucking... The land is healing, okay? The world is healing. If we have Jack and Saba in chat, the world is healing, all right? I have done what I succeeded to do, and that's it, okay? I could stay at this point as long as I get this for the stream. We're good. All right, this is all I wanted.
And now
It's fucking sad, but you know what? Hey, I'm a simple man, okay? And you know what?
So what shall we debate, gentlemen?
I have nostalgia for
I think
old
we're both
Kinkle streams,
capitalists.
right? We
We
gotta
could debate
we gotta
intricacies
fucking get
regarding
that
that,
back, all
or we
right?
could
I actually feel
debate,
nostalgic
some
for that shit now.
positions,
Probably because like I
separate
just
from
had
that
my
social
kid,
issues
right?
or something
It was
else.
like such a different
Whatever,
time.
if you have a
But it's like,
suggestion, I'm
bro,
open.
we gotta bring it back. What's up,
Let me
Saba?
See.
Or Lethe. If Lethe has a suggestion, I'm open.
Yeah, Lethe, do you have?
We gotta.
You're
We're
muted,
so
sir.
back, bro. We're so fucking back.
I'm cool with intricacies relating to capitalism because it sounds like he's a capitalist Democrat, and so I think that we could find some intricacy there, but it's up to him.
Lethe, can you say something? Okay.
What the fuck is this?
I'm not hearing anything from Lethe.
I'm not either.
I'm not either.
I think Leafy is high. I don't think he realizes what's happening, guys.
He was talking earlier.
I think he's out.
It's not muted on the show's end.
Oh, try putting your mic down.
I think he's fucking.
So maybe
He's
your mic,
out of
mutes
his
when you put it up.
mind, bro.
That's what mine does.
He don't know anything, dude. Wait,
Well, make sure your
he's
mic-
trying.
Oh,
Leafy
that's-
is trying.
you have a-
Okay,
you
never
have a
mind.
mic.
See the little where it says mute and there's like a little arrow beside it. Click that. Make sure you've got the right mic selected.
Oh yeah, no, I can see the shit show right now. This is
There
this
we
is
go.
awful.
Okay, I can
Okay.
hear you
Oh
now.
my god.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's just somehow your mic selected the wrong one. So good to go. All right.
Debate Trump. Why am I muted?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't mute you, and you didn't mute you because I can see that your mic is active. So I was like, wow, something's going on here. All right. So where are we at here?
Yeah, I'm good with social issues, the riots, like pretty much anything's up.
There we
Okay.
go.
What? So he, he was kind of leading off into some capitalism stuff there. What do you think about that?
I think
Okay, so
probably
now we
have
have
a
Leafy.
fair
Leafy
amount
can
of
speak again.
Overlap, but
Okay.
if you'd like to get into it, any particular part about capitalism?
Yeah, let me throw some things out. Should we have?
Occupational licensing.
Sorry,
Occupational licensing.
oh, that's some interesting.
I don't know. I'm looking for intricacies on his position because he said he believes in capitalism, and so I don't know like how deep his capitalism goes.
How
What
deep
about
is the
lower taxes?
capitalism?
Who should have lower taxes?
See, I'm gonna be
Personally, I'd
honest.
love
Lower taxes.
Leafy's mic hasn't fucking worked, and I'm
I mean,
still going with
you
Leafy
said
over
poor people
Patrick.
should have
Hear a
lower
lot of
taxes.
rhetoric about
Yeah.
taxing the rich. So
I mean, I would definitely take the. I mean, I think everybody should have lower taxes. If you wanted to debate on that, but we can argue something different if Grid would prefer something different.
I'm still going
I'm
with
just looking
Leafy.
for
Oh
something
my
you guys
god, how is
disagree
this
on.
possible?
Why we disagree there?
He's
We can-
KOing
I'm sure
himself
there's a few
right now.
things we
This is
disagree on.
awful,
I'm
guys.
sure he doesn't agree with DEI, I would guess.
Correct.
yeah, we did DI earlier. That could be done again.
We're talking about red pill and DEI,
What's,
guys.
We can talk reparations.
We're going back to 2023. That's what we're doing. We're going back to
We've not
2022,
done
2023 with this one.
reparations, debate on this channel at all.
That would be fine.
What all
They're
right,
debating
give me the
reparations?
prompt. What are we talking about?
All right, this could be interesting. This could be lit.
that-
Lethe, you're
based
the
on-
affirmative, I'd assume.
Yeah, so based on the actions of the U.S. government, the black population of America tied to chattel slavery, and going forward through the civil rights period.
Okay,
deserve
this
some
is going to
form
be a
of
good debate.
reparations for
All
what
right.
has happened.
If we're debating reparations, I know I can spurg, okay? I know I can
And
hit the
Patrick,
spurg.
your
We're
you-
good. We can do this,
can
guys.
debate
This is going to
against
be a
that?
good time.
Yeah, I'd be fine with being the negative against that.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do now is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put 1 minute. I'm going to really have to get the clock on the screen. It's just I haven't put it back up. All right. Since you're the affirmative, Lethe, whenever you're ready, just tell me and I'll start the clock.
Start it up.
Go.
All right. Due to the systemic nature of the way things work in America, Black people have been removed from the ability to gain wealth. So through the civil rights period, you had massive amounts of redlining, bank loans being removed, laws put in place against Black people to keep us from being able to be in the same position that most other Americans are.
Okay. All right. Under 30.
You could have hit that a little bit harder, but you know what? There we go.
You ready, Patrick?
I would have hit that a little bit harder,
sure.
but based.
Start.
Yeah, so the U.S., the United States, actually fought for the freedom
I
of
agree.
Black
Jack
people
should get
and
in on this
against
debate.
chattel
All right,
slavery.
that would
The
be
United
hilarious.
States is the
I
side
would
that
fucking
won
laugh.
the
Okay,
Civil War
I would be a
and
little bit
against
biased.
the
Okay,
Confederate States
I
of
would have to
America and
recuse
actually
myself when it
abolished
comes
that.
to the
So
Jack
the
debate,
side
but
that
god
he's talking
damn, that would
about
be
is the
funny.
side that he would agree with actually won the Civil War and is the side that is currently in control. So the systemic racism and ability to gain wealth, I believe that happened on a more localized scale. If you want to state it like that, that happened predominantly in the South, but ultimately in the grand scheme, the side that he would agree with is the one that won the Civil War, and so I don't see what there is to argue with.
Okay, both of you guys finishing well early, which is good, and we got 5 minutes on the clock, so let's go.
Okay, so starting with the side that won the Civil War and then reneged on its promise to give people that were deprived freedom a leg up going forward with 40 acres and a mule and gave reparations to the slave owners.
They didn't even get 40 acres, bro.
Then moving forward,
That didn't even fucking
created,
happen. Nobody got no mules or 40
segregation
acres.
within
That's the
states
problem.
That was upheld by the states.
No
by the
mules were
states
given.
themselves,
That's the issue.
keeping Black people from being able to own property.
You're saying so the
at the same
federal? You're
rate.
saying the federal government created segregation?
The federal government allowed for the states to have segregation. They upheld those laws.
The states had the right to. The states had the rights to do those things because everybody has localized things, and so that's. I guess that would be my position.
You know what? We
where
could
I
do
would
that.
say,
We
like,
could do a
for example,
Pokemon stream. Pokemon in
the
like
whole
game
thing about
stream. Yeah, we could do that.
buses and things like that. That Rosa Parks was going against, for example.
That'll be
was
future
because
stream.
The state was able to
Pokemon
discriminate,
in like
whereas if
just
it was
gaming
privatized
collection stream.
industry,
That would be lit.
then they wouldn't be able to discriminate in the same way because they would lose the competition. And like within competing with other people who didn't discriminate as far as making buses, restaurants.
You're one of
etc.,
those
and so on.
pro-Zionists for the
Or
bad
even
reasons,
education in
aren't you,
schools
Jack?
and- But go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're one of those guys that think
Yes,
Israel's a good
exactly.
idea for the
Discrimination in
reason
schools, so one
of,
thing
well,
about
there's a
that,
place to
where do
send them.
schools get funding from?
I'm seeing where you're at. All right.
Well, they
I
didn't
understand
get
where you're
funding
coming from,
the
Jack.
government
You
or
know, at
anybody
base.
else
I didn't
up
realize you were
until,
that kind of
the last,
Zionist.
I think 70 years or so. It's the vast
Where does funding
minority
for
of
schools come from?
At current,
now.
it comes from the government, but it didn't for the vast majority of our
No.
history.
No, it comes from property taxes. And so you're going to have better schools in areas with higher property values and higher property taxes, which is exactly where Black people were redlined from and are kept out of those communities.
And it came from property taxes because the government funds them, right? And I'm telling you, the Department of Education wasn't founded until very
The Department
recently.
of Education doesn't fund schools.
Okay. The localized schools, publicly funded, weren't happening either up until very recently in the country's history. For the vast majority of the country's history, all education was done privately, actually through churches and things like that actually funded schools, or communities that got together and funded schools. And so, I mean, I agree with you that maybe some of those things happened as far as like redlining and things like that. But
Yeah, I'm going
I think
Leafy.
It does happen now as far as
I think I have to go with Leafy on this because, like,
for X number of things.
I
as far as,
understand
like,
what
being in
Patrick's
schools,
saying, but
but I don't
Patrick
think
is
that's a
just, he's
problem
poor
with
form. He's using very
discrimination.
poor
I think
form,
that's a
okay?
problem
He's
with
getting
the
beat with a
government being
guy
involved in the
that his
education
mic
system,
didn't
so I
even
think it's a
fucking work.
separate
How can you do that?
So to
Self-KOing.
remove
This
the
is
need
fucking
for any
depressing.
Sort of, programs
This is
to
literally
allow for other
self-harm
people to
on
be able to
Patrick's
get into
behalf.
jobs
This
and
is
things like
awful.
that. Let's level out the playing field and allow for Black people to get low interest loans or no interest loans for housing as well as for education.
I think that's I think that's discriminatory. That's discriminatory on the side of the government to discriminate in favor of people for this.
Oh God, you are that kind of Zionist. Holy shit! You know what?
He didn't want.
You know what? We got the
pro-black,
manifesto in the
or
side chat. It's
pro
all
any
good now.
certain
I
color or
get
race
it.
or skin. He
I
didn't
get
want
you,
people to be
friend. You
discriminated
know what?
against for anything
I get
related
you.
to that.
We're
He
good.
wanted everything to be equal for everybody and have a merit-based system. And I think
Oh,
that
no.
actually DEI and everything else
Fucking
that,
the-
like what you're talking about actually goes against
the
the actual
fucking- you
spirit
know what?
of what Martin Luther King and the other civil rights activists.
I'll get
talked
on that
about,
in a little bit.
throughout
Okay,
the
well, we
entirety of
can
their movement,
have
because
a
they
we
didn't
can.
want it to be
This
based
is
on
why
skin
we
color at all.
just
They wanted to win based on the merits.
later
of
we
their
need to
skill.
just hop in the
And I think
VC
that
and just
actually
have a
undercuts
an
Black people's
amazingly
skill
based
level when you just give them
conversation.
a
The
job based
content
on their-
will be
the color of their skin, or
fucking
alone based
incredible.
on the
Okay,
color of
we
their
will
skin,
have
rather than them
a very
beating out
based
the competition
conversation, all right?
and then getting rewarded based on that.
The whole point of reparations is to repair a harm that was done to a people through discrimination. So to be able to get past that discrimination and right the wrong that was done, the same that was done with the people in Manzanar when the Japanese were put into internment camps, it wasn't that everybody got that. There was literally a discriminatory practice that put that into place, and there had to be a reparation for it. Why shouldn't there be a reparation for this?
How many white boys died trying to free black slaves? You know, like that's what I'm saying. Is the side that fought for slavery to be ended against black people literally was fought by white dudes.
Please,
from the north.
okay. I need you. I need you
And
to
yeah,
debate
you can say
Israel.
they
All right.
reparated slave owners,
It's
but I'm
fun
saying
when
literally
psychos like
thousands-
fucking
it was
like
the bloodiest
schizo
war in American
motherfuckers like
history
you.
as far as
It is
white guys
always
going to go
incredible
die
when
to
they
free
debate
black people,
Israel
and black people
because
served on that.
I'm sick and tired of
in that as
these
well. I mean,
normal,
literally all kinds of colors of people
complicit,
served on the
boring
side of the
fucks
Union.
that
Native
read
Americans,
3
white
history
people, black
books
people. You
that
had
were
all
written
sorts
by
of groups
whatever the
fighting
fuck
for that
Israeli
same
guy
thing. And so it's
that's only like
how do we reparate
65,
the
right? I'm
Native
sick and tired
Americans?
of
How do
this
we
shit.
reparate the white
I
people
want
that
the
died for that?
real motherfuckers to talk
the
about
side that was doing
Israel,
that
all
lost,
right?
is
The
the
real
main point.
motherfuckers to talk about Israel. None of these
people in France that
guys
fight in wars.
that read a book from fucking Ben Gurion type shit. Fuck those guys.
All right, gentlemen, that was really good. That was really good. I enjoyed that. Actually, that was cool.
Can someone tell me what the exact prompt was again? I missed that part right at the beginning. I didn't want to interrupt.
It was essentially that reparations should be there for black people due to the discriminatory practices that came from chattel slavery and the civil rights period.
Yep, that's what I heard too. Okay, I'm going to start with Cleaner.
16, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I had Patrick at 16 points and Leith at 12. It was actually really close up until I examined the command of the argument. And when I was looking at who
What the
had
fuck
more
are
command
points?
over the debate,
What are we doing?
it seemed like Patrick was refuting.
I don't know
and
what we're
then
doing.
Adding points during each of
Dun, dun,
Leith's
dun.
points,
We're gonna wing it.
So,
All right, I'm just
I
gonna
gave
say
command of the argument
fucking
to
12 and
Patrick,
14.
which ended up winning him the round, in my opinion.
Okay. Right next to you, Admiral Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lethe for the exact same reason. I think that every time Patrick brought up something new or whatever, Lethe addressed it very well. And I think what was a really poignant point was the point he made about the reparations made to the Japanese people after World War II. And I didn't find the response, and this was really the one key like debate point I think flipped it, was I didn't find Patrick's response about how many white boys died to be really a satisfactory answer due to the fact that, you know, World War II also had a lot of loss of life, and I just didn't, you know, buy that kind of that line of thought. However, overall, it was very close. So yeah, I give it to Lethe on that one.
Okay, and Tyler.
This was a hard one. 2 good ones back to back. So, okay. This came down to a lot of nitpicking here. So whoever loses, I don't want to ruin it till the end, but don't take it personally because this was good. Lethe addressed the Civil War point. He addressed it with, but after the Civil War, promises were broken and all this bad shit happened that had to go all the way up to civil rights in order to fix it. The only real rebuttal I heard to that, like you went off on Martin Luther King for a bit. I don't think it addressed it properly. You went off on the Department of Education. At one point, you were talking about bad Fed policy. That you could dislike the policy, but what he's arguing is the policy is in place, and what we saw are disproportionate.
Okay,
results.
so I don't have to
feel
score
like
them.
those points were
I'm
addressed.
not one of the
And,
judges. Okay,
The only time you
that's good because I have no fucking idea what's happening.
All you said
I'm just
was,
listening. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
you're
vibing,
right about those
vibing and
things, but
thriving.
The Civil War. Look at how many people died. It's like you're just saying, well, aren't you appreciative of all this over here? So ignore all this over here. It didn't take down his argument enough for me to say you won. So I have to go with Lethe on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping, like, I was going to wish to see if somebody was going to respond to Levy's argument with, like, well, we have basically given them reparations with all the, you know, grants and schools and programs that are, you know, directed for just that community. that could be in the form of reparation.
Well, I'd say another highlight that Leafy said right there was whenever you drop the Department of Education doesn't pay for the schools thing. That was a pretty good banger line right there. That one stood out to me as well. I think a couple of those were key. You had a few more of those like banger, like standout lines in my opinion.
Let me say, Patrick, the next time you're arguing with somebody who says that black people are owed money because of slavery, just point out the fact that two facts. One, slavery was an economic system, not a race-based system. There were thousands of black slave owners in the South. You can pull up the 1830 census. There were 3,775 black slave owners in the
Is
American
he seriously
South, during that census.
No.
Right? So it wasn't a race-based system. It was an economic-based system. Also,
No.
point out that there were white indentured
That's
servants who were
retarded.
treated in a very similar manner. They weren't
Oh my
race-based systems.
God.
They were economic systems.
He's
and
arguing
people
black
whining
people
about
had
it today
slaves
are
in the
just whining.
South. Oh my God.
Anson, I think
That's
you
fucking
listened a little
incredible.
better than I did.
He literally
I-
just
you know,
did.
I mean, I thought
He did
the
a no
opening was
you
little
argument,
too
but about
experimental
racism and
in
slavery.
that
That's
sense.
fucking crazy.
And like,
Holy
it's
shit.
cool to do that on like panels like this, but also, I felt like I was in outer space, and I felt Leafy was responding to. I don't think you can. I don't think there was any salvaging that line. I don't know. I wanted to rub on your nipples and talk about debates and stuff. My bad, dude.
I don't know what the fuck's wrong with Duck. The thing that I was seeing during the to and fro when you were each making points and refuting the others was that when you were doing the turnaround, I think you could have added more to each of the arguments, Leaf. I know you were very concise and to the point. I think you could have given a little bit more so that you could have had more points in there.
Yeah, but it depends on what country you're talking about, Jack. Okay, that's very specific. All right, in Africa, absolutely, but not in the South. Okay, it's retarded to make that argument for the South.
Or appearance of command in the argument.
No, and also, I respect Leith for we had a very good back and forth, both very generous with each other as far as just like being willing to let each other respond, kind of stopping and pausing for that. And so I appreciated the debate. It's my first time on a debate panel or anything like that. And so I definitely appreciated the charitable nature that Leith kind of approached it with, because I needed that. And
You know
it
what?
helped me
I
a
need
lot.
you to
So I
link me
appreciate
that, Jack.
Leith.
All right. Well, we will have the fucking
for
the
having
most
that, back and
based
forth with me. I think it
history
was
discussion
pretty
you could
enlightening.
fucking imagine. All right. It will be the
Absolutely,
greatest
and I
history
appreciate the
discussion on YouTube. I promise you that. But I need the
Yeah,
sources. All right.
I guess really
I
the
need
only
to see
feedback
that.
I have is, honestly, it's the economic system thing was kind of where I normally go. Plus the indentured servants and all of that. I feel like that, Patrick. I actually felt like you had pretty good control for the most part.
Saba just wants the
I don't really
chaos.
have
All right.
anything else
That's
to
what
add.
Saba's here for.
I-
He's like,
I
yeah,
hope you come back
that's gonna
and
be
you
fun.
did well,
Let's do this.
And don't be mad. So
Thanks for having me, Grid.
Yu-Gi-Oh's not the worst game. There are worse games than Yu-Gi-Oh. You'll be all right.
yeah, there you go. All right. Well, Patrick, I keep bringing Grumple back up. I don't know why.
Oh no, yeah, I'm supposed to be backstage.
Yeah.
Beth picked two more, Grid.
Did she? I can't. I haven't been watching. I'll check.
Cleaner versus
somebody can-
Avius.
Somebody,
Someone should buy Grumple back up. Grumple's like the only nice person in the panel verse. We just we need Grumple on every panel.
Cleaner versus Avius. How do you say that, Avius?
Avius. Yeah, Avius would be correct.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I'm good with Grumple verse, or not Grumple. Hold on. Did she say Grumple? Cleaner. I'm good with Cleaner versus Avius. I'm really sorry to do that to you, Avius. Cleaner is he's a Fed. I mean, let's just be honest.
Oh shit. All right, fair enough. Well, thank you for letting me know so like I can go in prepared.
No,
Rumors and hearsay.
It's all rumors and hearsay. So poor Kel just got back and we're putting her in the back room again. Sorry about that. That's just the way the show works. You're muted right now.
Sorry, I'm a technological grandpa, but yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. Apologies.
Okay, Cool. Hey, now are you leftist? Are you Democrat? Because I keep forgetting to ask, and then the chat wants to know. So
Yeah, you know how they say there's like California sober? I'm like a California centrist, so you know.
So you're
more
like
left-leaning.
you're more left leaning, but you haven't gone full retard yet. You're just halfway.
Right. No, I'm a capitalist at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, a lot of people claim to be capitalist, but then they vote for every single tax that comes down the road. So, anyway, all right,
we'll have
cool.
to engage in debate to solidify where I stand. Okay.
Well, we'll get you a debate in just a few minutes. But I got right now, everybody's got to go in the back. Everybody get to the back of the bus except for Avius and who did we go? Avius and
I believe it was Cleaner.
Man, it's so bad. Like you got. So the thing is people sleep on Cleaner all the time. Like they think he's so quiet and he's just chill down there, but he's deadly. So I wouldn't. I'm glad it's you, not me. All right. So what are we debating tonight, gentlemen? What's your favorite subject? Avius.
Well, I'm a contentious motherfucker and I'm very opinionated, so I can do anything. I can leave it up to Cleaner.
Cool.
Awesome. What would be your general side that you would be leaning towards? That you would have a more proficient side in debating?
Honestly, it really freaking depends. I'm a Swiss Army knife when it comes down to shit. I can disagree with I'm not like fully on the progressive side because there's like a ton of shit that not normal people would criticize on the progressive side, but there's other shit like my housing policy, shit like that, conservatives would probably view like insanely far left to the point where people would view contentious. So yeah, whatever you want, I'm good.
What's your
religion?
Argue? What I mean, what's the thing that you like to argue the most? Like personal, social issues,
Honestly, the main thing that I've been arguing recently is housing costs in the United States. Not just housing costs, but housing, transportation, and food costs. That's been the main thing I've been arguing.
Are you religious?
I'm agnostic. I don't have like any issues with religious people whatsoever. I actually see like a strong value in things like the Bible and shit like that, where it, number one, very historical. Like, regardless, people will fight me back and forth saying, oh, it's not historical, there's not this, there's not that. Well, the fact of the matter is, when you're talking about 3,000-year-old history involving the Romans, the Bible is just as historical as any other historical archives that we're going to go through from back then, right? So I like the Bible and shit like that from that point of view. I think you can learn a lot of philosophy from it, but I'm not very religious, quote unquote. Like, I've been to church, but the first time I was at church, I was 18.
So you believe in some type of deity of above or something to that extent, but no selective as far as a religion that puts it in a box.
Oh yeah, you could definitely say that.
Would you say that deity is the arbiter of morals?
I think the arbiter of morals would be us. The arbiter of morals is the thing that's kept us alive the longest. That would be our arbiter of morals, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, what's your position on housing and just, the cost of goods?
My position on housing, this is where a lot of people disagree with me. We are at a point when it comes down to housing, the only way going forward to provide homes for low-income Americans is government intervention. There is no other way going past this, right? You can look up, I want to say the website is the National Builders Association, right? If you look at the National Builders Association, they'll talk about right now, so basically the way to look at it, if you build a property, if you build a new apartment whatsoever, right? You want to make a profit on that land in 20 years, right? So you want to be collecting 5% a year off of that piece of land. At that point, in the United States right now, to build an apartment, you're looking at $1,800 a month is what you're charging to make your profit in 20 years, right? So if the cheapest that you're going to build an apartment to make it economically feasible in the United States is $1,800, the way I look at that is, well, I want people to have kids. I want there to actually be families and all of that good shit that we had in, you know, the 80s, 70s, whatsoever, right? But we cannot get that unless we have apartments that are, you know, $1,200 for a 2-bedroom. We can't build a $1,200 for a 2-bedroom in California. That's just economically infeasible. We have to build it through the government. That's the only way going forward. I'm not a huge HUD guy. I'm not like, oh my God, yeah, we need public housing. What I am saying is building public housing is the only way to move forward if you actually want to provide homes for low-income Americans.
Is that something you can debate, Cleaner?
Or yeah, I don't think that's the only way.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that there are a number of other ways.
All right, let's make something happen, Captains. I'm going to give you 1 minute since you're taking the positive position. Avius, you will get you'll start out. You get 1 minute to make your position, and we'll go from there.
Okay, my position, yeah.
Go.
All right, my position is very, very simple. I am a young father of 2 kids, and honestly, having kids is the thing that gave me purpose in my life. However, having 2 kids, when I had my daughter, before I had my son even, right, I had to move from the city that I was living in. The reason why is because the same price that I get a 2-bedroom in the city I live right now was a studio apartment in the city that I was living in. Now, at that point, I blamed the stupid, evil liberal city and all of the evil capitalists for not building cheap apartments and trying to price gouge us. But once I actually went and I did the research, I realized, no, it's not the evil capitalist's fault. The evil capitalists can only do what's economically feasible, and right now we live in a country where it's no longer economically feasible to provide people like me who are trying to start families. That's why we need to prioritize building low-income housing from the government.
Okay. That was almost exactly a minute. Cleaner, when you're ready.
All right. I believe that there are a number of other ways that we could address this issue of housing being too expensive or in limited supply. The first of which would be to deport the 20 million immigrants that are here illegally, which would necessarily free up housing. To what extent could be debated and conversed, which I hope we'll do. Also, the removal of taxes from low-income families could greatly increase the amount of funds that they have available to be able to purchase houses. Government limitations on annual percentage rates as far as how much you're going to be paying in every year on your home loans or mortgages could also be another way that you could combat this in a very real way.
Okay, so Cleaner.
All right, hold on. I
Oh, yeah. My bad. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was 5 seconds left, Cleaner. That was a long one for you. All right, you guys get ready and go.
So do you not think that having immigrants removed from the country would necessarily free up some housing for lower income families to be able to afford, or affect the housing market in a way that would lower some of the prices?
I think it would lower the prices. All right. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue against that. That's just a common sense take to say, yes, when you remove people from the market is going to get cheaper because there's more availability. What I will argue is, yes, removing 20 million people from the country would give us more supply, but we need supply nationwide, right? Because the issue isn't immigrants showed up, right? While we were having immigrants showed up, you had 2 generations come of age looking for homes. Now, I say 2 generations. Why would I say 2 generations? Because the millennials, number one, came of age and couldn't buy homes because the 2008 recession hit, which caused home builders to no longer build homes, number one. Number two, now you have
So,
Generation Z coming of age who
you're
also
adding
can't
in-
buy homes.
You're adding in too many points at once. Let's go one point at
Okay,
a time.
yeah, my
here.
bad.
So you're talking about the generations of immigration that have been happening, and I'm not denying that there's been some immigration that happened in the 80s and 90s, as well as a little bit in the early 2000s. However, a grand majority of the immigration that we've seen in the United States has happened over about the past 12 years.
No.
So,
I'm not even talking immigration. I'm talking the rate of people who are turning 18 looking for homes, looking for apartments, looking to move out of mommy and daddy's home, right? Just
Yeah, that's
yes, the
just
immigrants
something
add
that
to the
happens.
problems. Yeah.
That's something that happens generationally no matter what, though. That's going to continue to happen as we move forward into the future.
Would
Now,
you
granted,
disagree they're
we're
not
at
compounding
a
rate?
lower birth rate, so that may be a little less later. However,
But that didn't affect
that's
Gen
not
Z.
gonna stop.
Gen Z was one of the largest generations globally ever, right? So, like, yes, the birth rates declined, but the birth rates didn't start declining until millennials, right? When it came down to
Gen
the
Z, I
boomers, the
think,
boomers were, the boomers were doing their job.
Yeah, Gen Z, I think, was 13% per capita, higher than Gen X, or I'm sorry, not Gen X, but these two new generations that are around
exactly.
right now. Gen X, coming from the baby boomers, was actually one of the largest per capita booms of population that happened, other than right after the war,
So-
after World War II.
That's my point that I'm trying to bring up, though. When it comes down to Generation Z is one of the largest generations, right? So all of these people are coming of age now looking for homes. So even if we remove, all of the immigrants from the country, that doesn't make up for the gap of us not building homes since 2008. It doesn't make
So-
up for the gap of the millennials and Gen Z that still need homes. Yes, we will
What you're
remove these
saying
people,
is
but
that,
it doesn't
like,
make up for the gap.
Small portion percentage of the increase in births that were happening at that time that resulted in adults that are at this time could not be made up for by removing the 20 million plus immigrants. That's what you're saying?
I'm saying if we remove the 20 million immigrants, it doesn't make up for the deficit of the 40 million Americans that we now have to make up for. That's what I'm saying.
And I
But
would
yes,
say that it
that 20
does,
million that
because-
we've got over the 12 years is a fuck ton, right? That is
Yeah,
nothing to scoff
you
at.
necessarily have at least like 20 million families worth of space that you could, or maybe not 20 million families, but 20 million people's worth
Yeah,
of
but
space.
here's the issue.
that you
12
could
years ago is
fill with
2013.
The generation that's going on right now. Also, you have to take into account, when we're talking about this, you have to take into account the fact that the immigration that is here currently is actually taking up wages and doing all kinds of other things that are changing our economy as
Yeah,
well.
of course they are.
So
But again, that doesn't address the issue of
area is
homes, right?
removed,
Because again,
then
you
we're
remove
going-
the immigrants, you're still at a deficit of homes.
Yeah,
That's
but
what we
you're
need to
still-
address.
You're not really providing proof here to me that's showing me how if we removed the immigrants, that wouldn't necessarily give more housing
It's
to
simple
these younger
math.
generations and at a
It's-
lower
it's
cost.
simple
which I
math.
actually think you conceded earlier. So I'd like to move on to
No,
my
no,
next
no,
point,
no.
which is
My
removal of
entire
taxes
point
from
is,
low income.
yes, remove the fucking 20 million.
yeah.
Get them out of the country.
Yeah, that-
Gone.
Yeah,
okay,
and then
yes,
you're
that
definitely
helps.
gonna have a
But
little
we
more
need
space,
60 million
and they're gonna
homes.
have,
What does that do with
cheaper
the
homes.
60 million, right? Because we're still on a deficit of 40 million.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the problem.
I mean, if we had national propaganda for our youth to get married and stay married, then
That's
we
not
would
going to
have
do shit,
those
man.
60
I'm
million
married. I
lowered to
love
30
my
million.
fucking wife, okay?
So-
but no, this is the issue,
right,
all right?
what
How
I'm
are we
saying
going to
is,
have
what
kids when
there
you're living in an
would be-
apartment and you can't even
there
quietly
would be-
fuck, right? When you're in an
there would
apartment
be
with
more
4 other
housing
roommates,
available
what are you
for
going to do
those
about
people.
that?
And what I'm saying is, like, you would have more housing available for those people that wasn't being taken up right now.
No, their housing is not available. The average person can't even afford to go on a fucking date. So how are you going to tell the average American to go out and, go find
Removing
their
the
wife? They
immigration,
can't do
people will
that.
have more money because there would be
They
more
can't
jobs
afford a
available
home and they
for our
can't go
people
out
to
and
be
find someone to
working.
go fuck. They live in a fucking
It's a
studio apartment with 3
multifaceted
other
argument.
people.
The fact that you can't delve into the multifacet of it, just
No, you
that's
can't
on you.
fathom why the fuck we're in such a goddamn huge issue. I wish you could. I wish people could understand what the fuck I'm saying because I want more people like me to have
I can't.
kids.
I think-
Okay,
I
I
think
don't want to
actually
be
addressed
the
it.
only 25-year-old father. It fucking
The
blows.
three main reasons why our economy is all screwed up is immigration, the taxation, and the government limits on interest rates that haven't been enforced.
That's a
All
small
three of
part.
those played into it. No,
What
those
does that
three
do
played
with the
into
fact
it.
that
Strong
it is not economically feasible to build for less than $1,800 a month rent? What do you do to address that?
Avius, time's expired, brother.
All right, fair enough.
No, we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
I wanted
This
to
is
keep
fun.
going, man. See, this was my favorite topic to argue, all right?
Yeah, this is pretty good. I like this one.
Yeah, this is a good.
Dude,
this
there's
is
so
good.
much data and so much shit I can dive into. If you give me a chance to look at my charts, oh my fucking god, we could be here for hours.
Yeah, I have a lot of data that that kind of overlaps onto this concept of housing.
Yeah.
Nice. I hope we can talk about it more later.
Yeah, that's a great long form conversation, but right now we've got to pick a winner. We're going to start with Gibbs if he's ready.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so that was bad. They started off the night not so good, and then we've gotten some really good ones in the last few. That one was really close. I think that Avius was able to control where the conversation went. And this is kind of like an MMA match. You grapple it, and then I think this is the first one that somebody got really, really passionate. And I think if you get passionate and you back up the facts and actually make like cognizant things while you're passionate, that's a good sell. So I'm gonna go with Avius, even though it pains me to do so as a because it's everything against my beliefs. But he won this one, I think.
Okay, Tyler.
Whew, man, this was another one. This is like, again, the loser. I'm not gonna say who yet, but I'm nitpicking because this was pretty damn good. Avius started out with his personal anecdote, which invokes ethos. Started out with I blame the capitalists. I had Stu, and then I looked into it, and then got into his argument about. So Cleaner was more on the prompt. He's offering multiple alternatives to bring it down. Now, Avius, you were arguing against one of his alternatives. Well, part of one of his alternatives, is that sure, this solves 20 million houses, but there's 40 million more needed. But his point that he kept going back to is wages will go up, supply will go up, and demand will go down. So those prices will all start to come toward the middle. It's not just okay, 20 more million houses, here's 20 million people. It's going to affect the entire market. He kept bringing that up, and I thought you were addressing it well, but then at the end there, he started going into his second point, which was taxes and things of that nature, how government is somewhat responsible for the prices being high in the first place. And none of that got addressed. Cleaner, on the other hand, you left a lot on the table. You could have been going at a lot of points more, like your ending point about government being the reason it's this high in the first place. So taking the thing that made it this high and continuing to use it is actually going to exacerbate the problem. I didn't hear anything like that out of you because that would have gone at the throat of his argument. I felt like you could have been a little more attacky here. I hate to say this, man. Cleaner, I'm sorry. I got to give it to Avius. You should have cut him off at the knees, and you didn't. And I think he missed your second point, but you just didn't make it until right at the end, and it had no backing behind it because of that.
All right, Anson.
Yeah, so Tyler hit on something that I'm going to talk about, which is the ethos connection that he made at the very beginning, the having kids gave me a purpose in life bullshit that you did, right? You need to have diaper changes and tantrums to know that you're not so supposed to binge Netflix your entire life. Give me a fucking break, dude. And there's a certain point where it's an ethos connection and it's hey, look, I'm pathetic. And so I'm making an argument from being a pathetic human being. Right. And that's basically what you're saying. You have an entitlement to everybody else's shit. So give it to me. So, your argument fell flat. Right. I must say that Cleaner won 14-9. And I don't know what the fuck the other judges were watching.
I actually agree with Anson. So Gibbs, what did you say? I'm sorry. I zoned out.
I went with Avius. It was close, but I think Avius controlled
interesting.
more.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Cleaner, looks like you lost out on this one. I'm going to be honest here, Avius. I didn't like any of your argument. It was all asperging. It was nothing connected. To be honest with you, I'm in Anson's camp here, where all I heard was I'm a victim. Give me fucking money.
All right. I had 5 minutes. Give me 10 minutes later. Give me 10 minutes in data. All right. I won't use a single anecdote. It'll be 10 minutes of data.
And I buy and sell houses, so I have data too. And
no. That's why I would love to have the conversation with you, honestly.
It's an interesting dichotomy when you started out and complained that, well, I had to move out of this city so I could afford a place to live. Well, that's what people do. That's how people get forward in life. I can't believe the two judges didn't key in on that as the biggest portion of the entire argument. You just undermined your entire argument. Literally everything you said after that point was bullshit, and I can't believe the judges went along with it. But you got.
I'll tell you what. So it's bullshit. Let me get this argument right. Cleaner tried to go to his second argument several times there, and Avius would not let him do it. And Cleaner ended up playing
because he was third.
Well, hold on, but if you play into it,
it's fine. Look, hey, I'm just talking. I mean, I like to give feedback on things, and I think that my feedback to Cleaner would be is I think he started out trying to be very welcoming, and not welcoming. That's not the right point. But he wanted to listen. He did, tell him that when Avius started running off, he said, "Hey, come back. Let's just go 1 point at a time." I mean, I honestly, from my point of view, Cleaner had the debate 100% under control the entire time. He even said, "Hey, I'm going to make my second point. We're stopping. We're not talking about this anymore because I'm making my second point." Of course, time was running out at that point, but he was in control. I like, Avius. It's not that you made, I just don't like.
You know what? I'll even grant you that. I shouldn't have used the anecdote. I'll grant you that. However, anecdote, it helps a lot of the time, right? Because, like, I'll watch motherfuckers like Hassan and their entire audience is based on anecdotes, right? So, like, they're occasionally, like, I'll use the anecdote involving my family because I do genuinely love my family, right?
And look at what happened. You used an anecdote, and 2 judges just let you roll with it.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I use them occasionally, right? But yeah, no, I'll grant you that I should have fucking stuck with the data because I have the data.
Okay.
Yeah, Avius, I'm a dad too.
The one question I do have about
let me say
how this went down was, I did make note that within like the first 30 seconds he conceded my first point, and I continually tried to move it on to taxation or another economic form to merge it into our APY issues and our taxation issues. However, at what point, when an opponent is not going along with moving it along and they've already conceded the point, are you going to start deducting points from the person who's not moving along because they've already conceded the point, even though the other person is trying to push it in that direction?
So they.
But no. The thing is, you weren't addressing what I was saying. You weren't even engaging with what I'm saying.
The other judges missed that because it's your job as a debater to tell them, "Hey, you already conceded this."
Pointed it out.
Yeah,
but hang on, no, cleaner. How does removing people from the country make housing cheaper to build? That's my argument. I'm not arguing anything outside of the cost of building. So how does removing immigrants from the country lower cost of building?
Well, that's not what your prompt was. Your prompt was specifically that doing this.
Why would I have brought up the National Builders Association if I wasn't referring to cost of building?
Right. Actually,
your prompt was.
That's why I think Cleaner won. Cleaner said clearly. You said that this is the only way forward. I don't know why nobody else.
Yes, no. I say the only way forward because if it costs $1,800 a month to build a fucking apartment and that's to make it economically feasible, yes, that means poor people cannot afford homes in the United States.
Hold on. I just want to say, like, I am like. Going in, Cleaner, you had every advantage on my book. Like, it was going to be very hard for Avius to win this debate in my mind, even like just knowing my bias, right? And what the difference is, you asked this question. Yes, you made a point, and unlike what judges say, chairman saying here, it's not that you weren't a dick and then you didn't bring it up. You did bring it up, but then as soon as you brought it up, you went back and engaged with the points that he was making, right? And you went to his points and you never left your zone, right? Like, you said, "Oh, this is a problem," and then he made a different point and you went to fight that battle instead of coming back to fighting your battle. Like, after you made this, you didn't like double down. You like double down with saying it, but you didn't double up with an action afterwards. I think that like control is a big aspect here. Like, despite chairman's disagreements with that.
I think he just didn't attack enough too, because there was one point where he was citing the aggregate statistics.
I think I'm just gonna say this, and then I'll let Cleaner jump out. But so again, Cleaner is the only one that actually addressed the topic itself, and that was that the prompt was that this is the only way forward. The only way forward is for the government to come in and build the houses. Cleaner gave the alternative. No, if we actually deport people who are here in our country legally, and by the way, he should have followed that up with who moved in and took over all of the inexpensive housing or a large chunk of it. If those people moved out, then that inexpensive housing would now be available again.
Grid. If we remove these people, you're going to remove 1 million people from LA, and the apartments in LA aren't going to go below $2,500 a month. Okay,
Well,
you're going to
all right,
remove
so
1 million from
talking about
LA, 1
California.
million from
California's
New York,
real
1 million from
California.
fucking this place, 1 million from that
Yeah.
place, and it's not going to do anything
California
when
is
it comes
the
down to the
real world.
housing costs. That's the problem.
Live there. I mean, that's a simple point. So
and that was the thing. Like, okay, so listen, all right. When the debate started, the prompt was, "This is the only way to X." I made him concede there was another way. At that point, I no longer felt it was necessary to continue arguing any of my other points.
Oh
unless
yeah, no,
just got
I
bored,
conceded.
because he
Yes,
conceded that
yeah, I
won.
conceded. Deporting
So
20
I
million
moved
would
on.
it
I
concede?
was like, okay,
Yeah, I
don't
did
really care,
concede that.
whatever you want to talk about. Now that you've conceded, I just won. But, I
But
had
no,
fun-
I conceded that that would help,
I
but
would
that's
like to
not
do
going
this
to
one a little
relieve the
bit longer.
situation. That's not going to
Yeah.
relieve anything, right? That's
Well,
going to
the
help,
prompt
but it's not
wasn't-
going to
the
relieve
prompt-
the situation.
The prompt was that it was the only way, and so I attacked it. And this is why the grid space is so important right now. That people learn the format, the framing, and the understanding of prompts, arguments, fallacies, and how to conduct yourself in an argument in order to gain favoritism. from the
Okay,
judges
all right,
or
Cleaner, this is
viewership.
what I meant when I
So
gave you
when
that,
you're-
right? Let's say we were
Well, no,
politicians, right?
hold on.
Let's
This
say
is
we were
the thing, okay?
politicians and we were doing one big, beautiful bill. If we were doing one big,
exactly
beautiful
what you
bill, right, I would love for the fact to deport the 20 million, right? In our one big, beautiful bill, but a part of that, we also have to build public homes. Right? If we put
Say
both
what
of those
you
in the
mean,
big, beautiful
Stein.
bill, I'll
I'll know what
fucking
the
love it.
argument is
However,
about, and
if
I
we
won't be
don't
arguing
include both
something
of those, we both fail.
guys, I've got to move the
Have a good
show
one.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should. My bad, Grid. Yeah, I'm not trying to stall. All right, I'm just having a good time.
I think there's a lot here, but Cleaner, I think you did excellent.
He
look,
did. He
Avis,
did
I'm
do
not-
great.
I'm really not saying you did horribly. I'm not saying that you're a bad guy or anything like that. Don't. Take
Oh
it
no,
too
I'm not
personally.
taking it like that. I'm defending my position because I'm very passionate about this topic.
Yeah, and I just I didn't see what the other judges saw at all. I honestly didn't. So at any rate, we have a request for Glenn versus Kel, but Glenn is no longer with us. He has dropped off. He's probably got some stuff going on, and he'll be back.
Oh, that would have been a fun one.
Yeah. Let me and
He was
Patrick.
killed prematurely.
I actually need to drop Patrick down because I keep forgetting to drop these guys down because I keep bringing them back. So hide him.
Glenn,
come back, Glenn. Where you at, Glenn?
Hey, Beth gave me the credit to pick who the 1v1 is. She gave it back to me.
Okay, chairman of the board.
How sweet.
Who hasn't gone? So
What a class act. He's reviving his friend. All right, so he's back. Where's the other guy? Where's my other deadbeat?
Let's go.
Where's my other deadbeat? Where is he? There he is, Grumple. Go back to the back. Come on, man. All right, so we've revived Patrick. Patrick's back in. Glenn may or may not be back. We'll see. Check the Cash App. I don't get notices from Cash App like I should. So give me a second here. Stupid Cash App.
Robbery. Fuck Cash App.
You know, like
Grid for that 1v1 credit that she gave me back. I'm gonna do Clover Tech versus Kel.
Mel's choice. So Mel
Mine?
can, I guess, Kissy Cat is allowing Mel to pick the debates. Is that what
My
I
name's
understanding there, Kissy Cat? So you want
The
Avius?
debate or the opponent?
Well, Grumple's not here. Grumple lost, and he's in the back. He's just waiting to be brought back. That's what he's waiting for.
Hey Glenn, I'm just swinging by, or Glenn, Grid, I'm just swinging by to say hi. If you want me to fuck off to make room, just
Man,
let
I
me know.
want actually, I really want because I have heard, guys. You guys don't know who Tim Hale is. Tim Hale's, first of all, he's a comedian. He's fucking hilarious. Second, Tim Hale
Allegedly.
is allegedly a legend of a debater, but I've never heard him debate, and I really would like to. And Tim Hale is awesome. So Melanie wants Avius versus Leith. Wow, some left on left crime. I like it. I like it a lot. Tim Hale, we're going to continue this. Don't run away. Be cool. I like that. By the way, Tim Hale is he is a stellar human being who went to prison for no damn reason whatsoever.
They all say that.
None.
Boy Tim.
The biggest thing that he did, the thing that he did, his crime of passion, folks, was using the congressional restroom that was open to the public.
I made sure to wash my hands.
I am sure there's nothing more to the story. God, justice for Tim.
The video proves that as much as it would be a way cool story if there was that if he did do something cool like dance on the desk or something, no, he wandered the halls and he took a leak.
Well, I did dance in the visitor center. I did not dance on a desk though.
So Tim Hale could have been cool, but he wasn't.
I did not see that coming.
I'm kidding. I like Tim Hale a lot. He's a hell of a guy. All right, so who are we got here? We got Leith versus Avius. That's gonna be a good one. I like this one already.
Solid.
CloverTac, you're being awfully quiet for CloverTac. Of course, I keep putting him in the back too, so that's probably it. All right. Bye, Tim Hale. I gotta put Patrick in the back. All right. And then there were you. What are we going to debate, gentlemen?
I can debate anything.
Leith, what our points of contention would be.
Well, he seems to have some economic issues going on. So what about where are you at on economics?
I tend to focus more on social, religious, other nonsense, but yeah, we could get into that too.
Okay.
Avius?
What are the topics you like to argue regarding like social topics?
Well, we just got into reparations. I talk about DEI. I talk about pretty much religion is still a social topic in my opinion.
See, the problem is, like, I honestly don't really have an opinion on religion. Like, the only thing that I'll fight on are people that are, like, super anti-religious. I'll fight those kind of people, but other than that, I don't really have an opinion on religion.
So
yeah, I'm definitely not anti-religious.
Paternity testing.
What was that?
Where do you stand on mandatory paternity testing?
Mandatory?
I'm entirely against that.
Yeah, I'm against that.
That's invasive.
Yeah, are you against it, Avius?
Yeah, I would say I'm against that. Like, I don't know, like, anytime, like, the state is compelling you to do something, right? Because, like, the issue is, in the cases where compelling a paternity test leads to catching the scumfuck father, yeah, very good. But then there's also cases where a guy gets stuck in court for 6 fucking months where he has to pay a fuck ton of fees that he shouldn't have had to pay.
I don't draw that connection, but okay. Is the school system failing today's students?
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Ha ha!
There we go.
All right, cool. We got it. Education.
Where would you define... all right, yeah, my bad. I'm still learning, or I'm learning the format, my bad.
No, it's okay. You guys can define the prompt. I want you guys to to get a like I want something you guys understand and can be contentious about. And the reason the prompt is so important is so that we know what's being argued, so we can determine a winner. So you think, Lethe, that the education system in this country is okay, is fine, is good?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, all right. And you do not, Avius. So where would you say the education system is lacking?
Are you asking me, or are you asking Levy?
Yes.
I am actually pulling it up real quick. The funny thing is about the U.S. education, there is quite literal websites that are linked to government organizations that their entire job is to pull the numbers of the U.S. education system. On paper, the U.S. education system is dog shit. On paper, we're ranked like 34th when it comes to literacy. On paper, when it comes down to high school literacy in 2019, we are worse than we were in 1992. On paper, right? This is no bullshit. This is not communist literature that is brainwashing the masses. No, this is from the United States government.
Okay, so how about the prompt being that literally that the U.S. education system is failing students? How about that as the prompt?
That would work.
Sounds good.
All right. And you are taking the affirmative that it is in fact failing, correct, Avius? So you will start off?
Yes.
Okay, great. And just give me 1 second. And I will get this reset. There we go. Perfect. And just let me know when you're ready and I'll hit the button.
Give me 1 second. All right, yep, ready.
Go.
Okay, so the U.S. education system, as I just said, when it comes down to high school literacy, we are lower than we were in 1992. 1992, for perspective, was the height of the crime epidemic, right? So that means when it comes down to the average high schooler in the United States, they are reading worse than the average gangbanger in the 1990s. When it comes down to math, we are worse than we were, if I remember correctly, high school math, we are dead on equal with 1992. That means when it comes down to the average high schooler in the United States, we are damn near equal with the average gangbanger in 1992. Now, I'm not saying this in a negative sense of, evil gangbangers. No, I'm saying we are obviously failing our fucking kids if this is what's happening. If every kid has a fucking iPad, if every kid has access to all of this technology, Wikipedia pages, and everything else you could fucking think of, how can we still be failing?
That's time. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Ready, Lethe?
So this is absolutely not about iPads, technology, necessarily even money. It's the fact that parents aren't able to put as much time into their children. By the time they get to high school, they've already failed because they haven't been able to get the rudiments. It's K through 6 teachers that tend to do the most work for making sure that a child is set up to be able to learn properly by the time they get to high school. If you haven't taught them how to read properly by then, they're probably already going to be lost in the wash. And it's up to parents to be able to be available to reinforce these things. So if they're stuck in a job, working 2 jobs, the kids come home, they're not having their education reinforced, you're going to have failing kids by the time they get to high school. So we need to reinforce that K through 6 is important and allow for parents to be able to have a hand in getting those rudiments in order.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news when I say this, but the one thing that you can count on is other people are shitty when it comes to raising their kids, right? I feel like I speak for most parents when I say this, but when you look at the other parent next door, they're always worse than you.
We're not in the argument yet.
Oh yeah, my bad.
You're anxious. That's good.
Oh no,
right.
I'm learning the format. I'm just going back and forth. That's my bad.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready? You got 5 minutes. You ready? And go.
Okay, as I was saying, the parent next door to you, you can always count on is worse than you, right? So you can say that, oh yeah, this is a byproduct of bad parents and they're not readying their kids and the kids aren't ready for reading. Well, to that I say, the reason why we started sending our kids to school in the 1800s was because back then they couldn't teach their kids how to read. So they sent their kids to a building so the building could teach their kids how to read. So if you're telling me right now that, oh yeah, of course our literacy rates are slipping because parents can't spend time with their kids and they can't teach them, well, that tells me the system is failing because the system was literally designed for overworked parents that can't teach their kids. Now, I understand you need to dedicate some time to your kids, and it's very clear to see what parents dedicated their time to their kids versus the kids that didn't have time with their parents, right? That's very clear at the end of the day. However, we still need to address this because at the end of the day, you can't just say, bad parents and raise your hands, because we're the ones that have to deal with it. My tax dollars have to deal with that at the end of the day. Every person that's sitting on the street addicted to drugs is a byproduct of, oh, well, it's up to the parenting. That's why I'm not satisfied with that answer.
Oh, so it's the drugs that were brought in by outside influences that are the problem? I'm not saying these people are bad parents, and I think you're misrepresenting my argument. I'm saying that the parents aren't allowed to have the time to reinforce the education that these teachers are putting forward. I think our teachers are doing a great job getting all the rudiments out to these kids and setting up a good foundation for them to go on to high school.
They're clearly not
having that education being reinforced because they aren't babysitters.
If high school literacy rates is worse than they were in 1992, they're clearly not set up for success. I hate to see my generation fail at such a rapid rate like this. This is fucking sad. And I have people telling me, oh, it's because their parents were bad. Yeah, I grew up with these motherfuckers. I know their parents were bad. I know their parents were dedicating time to them. But the fact of the fucking matter is we have to fix the education system because it's not getting better, right? You can say, oh, well, it's because the parents don't have time to dedicate to their kids. Well, do you think a parent in 2025 has more time to dedicate to their kids than a parent in 2010?
I'm saying they absolutely don't, and this is part of the problem. Because
okay, so you're saying it's getting worse.
Parents are going to spend more time with their kids.
So how could you argue the U.S. education system is good and or getting better if, as you just admitted, people are spending more time away from their kids? So how could it get better?
Exactly, that's the problem. They're spending more time away from their kids.
Okay, so what I'm saying, it's getting worse, and it's just going to get progressively worse.
So let's get some programs together to where parents are able to spend more time with their kids.
That's not going to work because the thing that I need to spend more time with my kids is 60 more fucking hours at my job. That's the thing that I need. I need an extra $20 an hour to spend more time with my kids. That's just a fact of the matter.
Are going to fix the problem is your argument.
How am I arguing that?
What has the school system done that's worse at this point?
I don't know. I would say headcount is probably a fucking issue. Right? The fact that the average teacher used to have I don't know, maybe 60 students and now they're sitting at 300, that probably adds to the problem.
I can
if having parents one-on-one, having more kids in the classroom would absolutely add to the problem, right? If you're saying they need one-on-one time from their parents, they probably need, more than fucking one teacher for 100 students, right? That would just be common sense. And that's why kids are failing right now.
You're just saying kids aren't getting enough one-on-one time, especially with teachers, which could be
no, they're not getting any time. Period. Nobody's even addressing this. Only thing I'm trying to point out is that the U.S. education system is failing, and when we talk about things like abolishing the Department of Education, that's why I support it. Because obviously right now we're failing when it comes down to education, and we need major reform throughout the entire system to even begin to address these issues. It's not just, we need to spend more time with our kids. I wish it was that simple.
So you're saying destroy the Department of Education,
yes.
Don't reform it because you can't reform something you destroy.
No, destroy it and then rebuild. Yes, okay. Like a phoenix from the ashes. It will be amazing.
Rebuild from what?
From the ashes.
From the nothing you're going to get.
Yes.
So it's going to be whoever's in office that's going to set up whatever it is that's already not working.
Hey,
so you're saying
I would take a gamble with the next guy in office versus the current system we have right now that has given us an education system worse than the one we had in 1992.
I mean, for the most part, all you're saying is that the teachers don't get enough time per student and that the parents working 60 hours also are
and the fact of the matter is the parents are going to have to work 70 and 80 when it comes down to the next decade, right? So that's not changing. So at the end of the day, we need some, yes, honestly, yes, that's what we need. We need teachers to be babysitters. We need teachers to be the parents that you can't be because you're working 70 hours a week.
Gonna need you to pay them teachers more.
Hey, we can talk about that later.
That was interesting. I'm going to Tyler first.
Oh man, I'm on the spot here. Okay. Whew, man, that was good. These are being progressively better here. I feel I'm gonna keep this kind of short and sweet here. The point Avius made about literacy rates of parents during the 1800s who were working more time, which he tried to remake again about 2010 and 2025. Parents are actually working less now than they were at these previous times and more literate now than they were at previous times, yet we're seeing worse results, I think was the winner argument. And you rephrased it 3 different times, 3 different ways. And every time he hit you with a new argument, you found a new way to just keep throwing that in that, like, we're seeing more of what you're asking and we're still seeing declining results. And I feel like that argument for you just kept it real simple and kept hammering that home, and that was your win right there.
Who did you say won, Tyler?
Avius. Surprise! I've never even heard this dude. Killing it.
Yeah, are you new, Avius? Are you like at Fitness Circle? Or you been doing this a while?
I've been around for a while. I've been like in the primordial ooze of the debate spaces.
I hear that. Okay, yeah, the ooze, bro. I'm from the ooze. I'll go ahead and go next, I guess. I gotta say I was very impressed with Avius. However, Lethe, I think I was gonna wager that he was the more experienced. He acted like a little more experienced, but he was more calm. And I do like the passion that Avius displays. But the one thing that really stuck out to me here was you didn't really offer any solutions. Your solution was burn it all down, and the next guy will do another thing. And
Yeah,
Lethe
I realized that at the end.
different.
Yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah, Lethe consistently throughout the panel offered several different solutions, and he offered like things that would back it up. I think that was your weakest area, and I think that
That's why I tried to
think
throw
that's
in the
a strong
Department of
argument.
Education at the end.
Yeah, and I mean you did a really good job, and I think that I like your argument style. I think it was very good. I just think Lethe maybe slightly pulled out ahead, and I think that like one big thing right there with not hitting him enough with a plan, I think is why I'm going to give it to Lethe on this one. But you did outstanding. You definitely, if you aren't new to this, you're really good. You're gonna be moving up soon on this. I think you're very good at this. And you represent everything I hate too. So like, you know that
There we go.
I'm not just lying to you. You know when I say this or gassing you up. So.
Yeah, same. This is the second time I disagree with you and voted for you. I agree with both the arguments you went against.
But yeah, Lethe on that one for me. I don't know who I guess Chairman, what you got, Papa?
Yeah. So both of y'all are commie adjacent, so I don't respect either one of you. But in terms of logic, Lethe, you made a much more reasonable argument, and I respect you a lot more than I do Avius. And Avius, man, the whole buildings teach our kids how to read thing that you said, dude, that like I laughed. That was hilarious. And it just goes to show that you learned logic in a condemned library with no books, right? So I'm super excited about that. And you definitely won. I scored you at 10 points, Avius, and Lethe at 8, even though you're obviously a moron. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Avius, I actually thought you did really good. I'm not going to ding you for the talking about buildings and shit. You made solid, cogent points about how poor the education system is that can be measured. I didn't actually hear anything on the other side about how the education system is adequate. That's what I was waiting for. I don't know what anybody else heard, but Lethe never said anything about, well, yeah, okay. So our reading, graduating seniors are reading at a 3rd grade level, but, the people who do, but there's this other group of people who do way better and have good grades, got bogged down in a bunch of weirdness. I don't know. Avius, I think you made actually the only measurable argument. I couldn't measure anything that as a win that Lethe said, although he actually was very rational. Actually, Lethe, man, you have a really good way of speaking. It's very like it's
personable.
intelligent.
It's strong without being overbearing. It's very, you know, and that I think it pulls away from other people's arguments because Avius has this voice that's just like, you know, sounds like he's on like Jolt Cola maxed out or something, you know, like he's wound the fuck up. And
I
so
haven't taken my Ritalin for today. That's the issue.
I think that's honestly where things kind of went, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So Avius, man, it was good having you. Come back. Hopefully somebody will raise you from the dead.
Good show, bro. You should come back. Grid. I think you do really well in these blood sport formats on grids. I love how on Sarah's panel you're able to stay in a dialogue and stay in like the track that, you know, someone brings you into it for like 10 minutes at a time. And so I think this is a great place for you too. I love listening to you. I know I was kind of ribbing you in the chat, but yeah, it's always awesome to see you on panels, bro.
Yeah.
Lethe, can I give you some feedback that might help you in the future? When
right after I say thank you, Avius, you are an amazing contender, and I was feeling like you were putting me on the ropes, and I had to like keep my composure as much as possible to try to address things and not like end up all over the place. So.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate you as well. You put me on the back foot when you brought up parents, so like I had to strategize around that and not sound like a fucking monstrous asshole. So yeah, I would have to say the same.
So let's say when your opponent makes up some number like a teacher teaches 300 students today compared to less in the past, just say, hey, dude, you're full of shit. You're just making that up because you ain't got nothing in your argument, right? Because he was just pulling that out of his ass, dude. He didn't have nothing.
Well, when it comes down to classroom head count, it has increased substantially over the last decade. The 300 number, yeah, I pulled out my ass, but if I pulled up the actual number, it's probably worse than what I said.
No, it's not. At any rate, I want to move on.
It is
to
worse
the
if I
next
look at states like, you know, New York, California, Washington, you know, states where, no, the states where everybody actually fucking lives, you know, the states where if you pulled the population, it equals over, you know, fucking 50% of the United States, you know, where the people actually live. I'm sorry, people don't live in the middle of fucking nowhere. They live in the actual places like California, right? I don't like it just like you, but we have to accept the facts.
Yeah, you hate normal people, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, they do. All right, they fucking do. Okay, have you ever seen a pride parade in fucking San Francisco? They do hate normal people. All right, I'll say that right now.
Yeah. All right. So, at any rate, have a great rest of your night, man. Come back, sharpen up your tools. We have a debate request for Clover versus Kel, but I am preempting that because I want to see Tim Hale versus the Duckman, and the topic is going to be insurrection. So all you guys get to the back. This is my ship. I am the commander and you are not. So this is what's going to happen, captains. So let me, I gotta kick some of you, not kick, but you know, just gotta put you guys in the back. All right. Tim Hale, the man himself. How are you, sir?
Yeah. All right. How's it going? Good evening, right?
Good. Duckman, how are you? Feeling good?
Good. Yeah. Tim, this is going to be obviously our first time talking. Your name sounds super familiar, and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully we can have a good conversation. All this.
Yeah. So to refine the topic, since I'm dictating the topic, because I know you're going to both are both going to agree and disagree on this, so I think it's going to be an excellent debate. Duck, you have expressed massive amounts of support for.
I think this has been a pretty fucking good day today. I'm not even going to lie.
And insurrection,
pretty good stream.
In California and other states. Tim Hale was unjustly imprisoned by our government for what you have multiple termed a
one thing I know.
So
I do need to do more research off, and what I mean by that, so like I do a fuck ton of research, right? But I need to,
and the other is not.
I need to recite scripts more, and what I mean by that is I need to put it all in the Google Doc, and I need to fucking recite that Google Doc, right, to the point where I can just be like, this is classroom size, this is this, this is that.
That California, New York, and et cetera are not, in fact, insurrections, that they are peaceful protest, where I'm absolutely positive that Tim's going to disagree with you on that. So, so you will.
I'm going to take a nuanced position, but I'm happy to hear what Duck says.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it. I can't wait. And this is gonna be awesome. I can't wait because Duck has made these arguments all week and is very practiced, and Tim lived it. So this will be awesome. I think, maybe not, maybe I just fucked up, but we'll find out soon. Duck, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, start now.
Yeah, so in California and in cities across the United States, and not just right now, but really since Trump's inauguration on Jan 20, there's been protests. Now, the most recent protests are because there's already challenges in court to the constitutionality of many of the decisions that Trump has made, and these are coming alongside heard, felt, seen injustices like high schoolers being taken from classes and put in internment. And so there's a big difference between people displaying civil disobedience, even be it criminal, and Jan 6th, which was a fake news, hateful.
Well, stream get to see the fucking the back end of my YouTube for a second. Either way, I'm reading something. I got sent a Google Doc. We're networking, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it, guys.
And I think when we talk about disruption, which we should, LA is a good thing.
Sorry, Duck. That was your minute. I apologize. I know you had a lot to say there. Tim, whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Yeah. So actually, I think we would find common ground on one thing. We're obviously not going to find common ground on the other. So I'll just say flat out, January 6th was not an attempt to overthrow the government. But I would also say that I'm not convinced that what is happening in LA is also an insurrection either. I actually think riots are a particular thing. And I think insurrections, there are ways we could, parry about this legally, but as a history major, I would just go with the colloquial, which is that a insurrection is an armed rebellion, like you would have seen in the Philippine insurrection after the Spanish-American War. I think riots have happened fairly frequently throughout the United States and throughout its history. And I know people, again, you could take this or not. I know people who live out in the area, and while the stuff
honestly
that we see on TV is definitely happening, I don't think the scale of it qualifies as
is
insurrection.
fucking boring. All right, I'm just gonna say it right now. It's fucking boring. I'm bored. All right, I'm fucking bored.
You could argue, like some people did with the Proud Boy conspiracy.
I'm way too ADHD for this. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I want to start stimming, dude.
Opening. All right, you guys ready to get into this?
I'm better than these guys. All right, I'm saying it. I'm saying it right now. I'm better than Ducky. I'm bigger than Ducky. All right, I'm saying it now.
From where I left off,
Ducky.
Or do you want me to pass it to Duck?
Fuck Ducky, dude. Yeah, I'm stimming, guys. I'm stimming.
Can you hear me?
We need something. We need stimulation, guys.
Did he freeze?
He looks frozen.
God damn it. We need Subway Surfers, guys.
Hey, Duck.
We need Subway Surfers. I also shouldn't have said the fucking tablet thing, guys. I spurged, okay? I said the thing about tablets. I said, my entire point I was trying to make, we have more technology than ever, okay? We have more technology and the kids are retarded. Explain that to me. Why are the kids retarded?
Not like this, Duck.
Stop the kids from being retarded. That was all I was trying to argue. That's all I was trying to say.
Well, anyway.
The
reason I came by is I heard that gun
Stop
control
them.
thing,
It's fucked.
Yeah. I just wanted to say I recommend people read Carol Quigley's Weapons, Systems, and Political Stability.
One of these guys were singing that song, and I had that on Jellyfin. Guys, get Jellyfin. Break up with Netflix and get Jellyfin, okay? Actually, I did say that because YouTube is restricting people from talking about the fin, okay? So from now on, we're just going to say Code Jelly, okay? I highly
soldier thing
recommend
is really a
hooking
byproduct
yourself
of
up with a code Jelly
So when you
server,
look at
okay?
how
Your
weapon
media
specialization
is no
was
longer
used
their
to keep
media,
certain
it's our
people,
media, all right? That's all I
guess
have
you
to
could
say.
a more
All right?
authoritarian state in
I'm not sure what
power,
I'm saying with
because
that.
not
All I'm
everybody had
saying is
access
boot
to
up a
certain
home
kind of
media
training or
server. It's highly
weapons
recommended, and you can then
that
watch
allowed the
DuckTales,
system to
all
hold
right,
power.
from the comfort of your bed.
When you
After
move
this
forward to the
stream,
citizen
I'm
soldier
gonna
type
join
of
the
thing, as
fucking
weapons
Discord
became
for a little
cheaper and more
bit, talk
easily
for like a
accessible,
few minutes,
this really,
and then
I
I'm
mean, you
going
could
to
argue
bed,
about
all right?
causation
And I'm watching
versus
Spawn.
correlation,
I'm gonna
but
watch
I think
Spawn
it's
for
worth
like 30,
noting
40
that,
minutes.
you know,
No. I'm
post-Enlightenment
gonna watch like
era,
2 episodes of
Industrial
Spawn and go to
Revolution era,
bed. That's the plan.
that allowed
That's what we're
pretty much
doing tonight.
everybody to vote.
That's
And
the goal.
so,
Because frankly,
you know, the left fears
one part
handguns,
about
they
being
fear
autistic means you
AR-15s,
have
but they don't
to
fear
stick
them
to your
because they're
routine,
dangerous. They
and
fear
my
them because
routine
they're
right now is
accessible.
watching Spawn
And
before
that, I
bed.
mean,
So
if you do believe
that's
in
what we're
liberal
doing tonight. We're
democracy,
watching
I
2
actually
episodes
think
of
it's
Spawn, and
worth considering.
after
You know,
stream,
the
you should
federal
also watch
government
2
has
episodes of
become more
Spawn to like
specialized, so we're actually going
spiritually
back to
join
Blue
me and
Agents.
become one with
We're
me.
going in
All
the
right.
other
If you want to
direction.
become
So
one with me,
weapons
that's
have
what you got to
become
do.
more specialized. Obviously, not everybody can own a Predator drone. I'm not saying they should, but
Right.
you know, modern weaponry can keep some level of parity. You know,
Mhm.
so I think it's worth people who are on the left to consider that if they want to make real
Come by
appeals.
on. You should come by on Wednesday night, and we'll have like a whole long conversation because I'm in the same boat. I haven't read that book. I'll see if I can't find it, but you know, I have a kind of an interesting take on all of that, and I've lived all over the country, so I've really I feel like that I have some insight, you know, that maybe other people wouldn't have. I don't know what's going on with Duck, so I'm going to bring everybody back up.
Yeah,
and we'll
Duck
just
died.
Move into the next debate, and because you know, I got to keep it rolling, guys. Got to, you know, the machine doesn't stop.
Got to keep it rolling.
Kel, who are you yelling
We have
at?
a show to run here, people.
That's right. That's right. Got a show to run. That's what's up. All right. So, who is Duck's back? Duck, your PC dropped. Are you good to go now? All right. Well, just come back up, but calm down a minute. I keep forgetting to drop Grumple. He's he it's like every single time I'm like, I just, you know, it's the stash, man. You know,
But I
it's the
really like Grumple. Can we just leave him here?
No, I mean I can, but
Wait, aren't you supposed to be gone last night too?
Nah, I won.
he
You
won.
what?
I stay winning.
It was the other guy. I keep forgetting to drop. I just
Hey,
I keep bringing people back because they're just hanging out. I don't.
Well,
mind.
how'd you win, Leslie? I thought there were 2 votes against you. I know I voted against you.
I voted Leafy.
Oh wait, in the school debate, you and Gibbs voted for Aquavius?
I
Yeah.
voted for Leafy.
Oh,
It was.
I voted for Avius.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I voted for Avius.
Oh, you voted for Avius? I thought you voted
Yeah.
for Leafy.
No, I said I'd never heard of him before. He did a really good job, and he invalidated the central argument with his point about the 1800s.
Well, now I feel like an asshole. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Because now I've got to tell Lethe he's got to go. And I
Oh,
like
good.
it.
I'm free.
You're not free. You're moderately low priced.
Free at last. Free at last.
Free.
Greg,
Okay.
you might try a different prompt on the education thing too if you bring those guys back. Maybe instead of because I noticed, I mean, granted, there were solutions offered to this and that, but I noticed that a lot of the points really were consequential, or really they were based off of descriptive. It is like this, you know, whatever. But maybe a prescriptive debate. What should the education system actually be about? Should it be about mechanical skills and you know, preparing someone for the job market? Which, you know, the education system really started focusing on in the early 1900s, or should it go back to the trivium and quadrivium, where the liberal arts are really the main focus? That might be an interesting debate.
Didn't you
like
just?
that. Give me 1 second, guys. Lethe, tell everybody where they can find you, why you're cool, and then go hang out in the chat. Maybe somebody will bring, and why they should bring you back, why they should let you continue forward and to fight again.
Lethe Water Kai on all platforms because, I mean, I just am who I am. You've seen this.
Right.
There we
Perfect. I guess I'll drop you down. And hey, thanks for dropping by, man. It's been awesome. Everybody's been awesome tonight. Everybody's been really cool. I really having a good time tonight. Duck is back. Duck, are you jumping up? Are you ready to go, or what? Duck. Sign of life.
So Tim's a comedian. I hear he's a real riot.
Funny.
A real protest. Don't use that fascist language, pig.
Oh no.
Oh,
very good, very good.
Okay, because his computer.
I'm working on my dad joke.
There you go.
Proud of you.
I thought you were just working on your dad bod, honestly.
Woo! Damn,
Well, they both
that's
come
hard.
together.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right.
Thank you. This makes me feel funny.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
Tim was gone for a while. So, Tim, while we're waiting for Duck to figure out how to get back in, you want to tell people what 3 years of your life? Oh no, Duck's back. Never mind. I was gonna say what 3 years of your life was like, but Duck's back.
oh, thank God. Thank God we didn't have to get put through that.
I know, right?
Coast is clear.
Saved by the Duck. All
Thank
right.
God.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can.
Allegedly. Kind of, I guess.
Allegedly is good enough.
Yeah. Don't freeze this time, Duck. I wondered, you started roboting, and I thought it was just like a lag in the on my end, but it was you. So don't do that again. It makes me look bad. All right.
does the duck say?
Yeah. What does the duck say?
What does the duck say?
What the duck says
The duck
is
says
get fucked. That's what
he's
the duck
back.
says.
All
It
right.
says get fucked.
So
all
we
right,
kind
fuck
of
the duck.
we had the prompt. We had
Bup
the
squat
two
the duck. All
intros,
right, that's
which
what he
I kinda
has
don't
to
remember
say,
now.
dude. That's
But,
it. That's all.
And now we're ready to start the debate.
I'm gonna. Get my
You guys ready
phone.
to go, or
I gotta.
Well, I believe we
gotta do
left off with
something.
me talking, but then I think Duck froze there. So I don't know if Duck wants to.
Tim was talking, and Duck.
I gotta look at my work schedule, guys. All right, that's what we're doing right now. We're looking at our schedule. All right,
So all right, Tim. Let me
pulling
give
it
you
up,
your minute,
loading.
and then
All right, there we are.
we'll
That's
go.
the schedule.
We'll let you go. All right, you ready? Go.
Suppose so.
Go ahead. No.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so I
God
guess
damn it.
I'll just
Yep.
start from the beginning then.
Yep, we definitely
so
work tomorrow.
I would disagree with the
And
I would disagree with the classification of January.
yep, we're
6th
fucked.
As an
We are
insurrection,
definitely
but I would
fucked.
also
Okay,
disagree
we are
with what's
fucked.
happening in
That's all
LA
you gotta know,
currently
okay,
as an
guys? That's all you have to
insurrection.
know. We are
I
fucked
do
for
believe
tomorrow.
that riots throughout American
And we have a
history,
ducky debate
can
about
be
insurrection. The
identified as
insurrection
simply
ducky
riots.
debate.
When you look at the how much time do I have actually?
I love
26 seconds.
ducky and insurrection.
Oh, boy.
also,
Yeah,
also.
I think that what's happening in LA
That
is
one
wrong, and there
dude
might be people
switched
who are
his opinion,
interfering with law
okay? I did
enforcement
not
and federal
I did
agents,
not
and I don't
win.
necessarily think that
I
makes it an
lost the
insurrection.
second
I think
time, okay?
insurrection has
Leafy
a historical,
won
but also,
and
like,
I
colloquial,
lost.
understanding, which is
But
an armed
he
rebellion.
switched his
January
vote
6th
to
was
me.
not that. There are different crimes
So that's
committed on
fucking
January
crazy,
6th,
all
but it
right?
was not
I'm
an
pretty
insurrection.
sure
It does not, however,
I'm
mean
pretty
that what's
sure I
happening
just
in
saw some
LA
hive mind
is,
activity.
insurrection
From what it
either.
looked like,
So
it looked
I'm
like
open to
Grid
it
said
being
I
a
did
simple
good
riot.
arguing
Good.
Yeah.
schooling,
You were like,
and then that caused the
2
other dude to switch his
seconds
vote.
over,
Okay,
but
I'm going to
that's
pull it
fine.
up later
I'm
on
gonna allow
stream.
it. All right,
Like
you
once I'm
ready,
off
Duck?
stream tomorrow at work, I'll
Yeah.
rewatch this. I'm
Yeah, all
pretty
right,
sure
Tim, you're
he
ready, so
proactively
let's,
switched his
let's
vote.
go.
All right, I shouldn't be
so
here.
This is where.
And either way, I'm
before I
not going to be
dropped
here
off,
past fucking
this is
11.
where,
All right, I have shit
wanted
to do.
jump
I have
in
work
and say
tomorrow.
One statistic
Okay, I
everyone
can't
should
stay
be
too
familiar
long.
with is that on day one of the protests, 167 people were arrested for failure to remove themselves. So, when we ask how this can be classified as a riot, even a riot, not even an insurrection yet, I would still need clarification. And secondly, identifying why this could potentially, why some people might call this an insurrection, and why others would need to insist politically that this is a riot. I would still need clarification on that, because I see 200 people willing to go away in handcuffs for the reasons I mentioned earlier, which were that there's vagueness in the law leading to severe injustices, and that's something that citizens have no obligation to let pass by without exercising their rights.
You don't got too long, guys. You don't got
Okay.
too long left.
Keep going. It's a debate.
Yep. Okay. So I mean, I'm not even going. I'll actually concede all of that. I'll actually grant all that for the argument. I don't see though how this is really a disagreement between us at this point, though. I'll say that in terms of it being a riot, I would say that I'm using this in the colloquial sense that there was riotous behavior. People are throwing things at cops, and there are people who are burning things, yada yada. But again, I'm not even suggesting that this is the vast majority of people. I'll say this with January 6th, you had a statute called, well, actually, you had a statute derived from the Civil Obedience Act of the 1960s, which was a way to basically crush people who engaged in civil rights protests. It was during
This
the
is
race riot
fucking
era, and they
boring,
actually
guys.
used this from
Guys,
January
I think
6th amendments to say that if you were in an assemblage of
I
three
think
or
I know
more
what I can
people
do.
engaged in violence, that was
Hang
civil
on.
disorder. So again, we have a
I think
federal
I got it
system.
figured
I'm not
out,
gonna
guys.
suggest
I
that
think I
all
could save
laws in
this.
California reflect that of the DC code.
Yeah,
But
bros
if
are
you're
still
gonna-
going,
if
dude.
the
They
standards say could be that
they
there
do
is a
be
small
talking,
handful
all
of
right.
people
They do
engaged
be
in riotous
talking.
behavior, that could still
They do be
classified as a
talking,
riot
and women
if
do
there's
be
enough
shopping. That's all I gotta say.
I'll say with it.
So maybe-
That's all I have to
Justice,
fucking
again,
say on the matter. Women do be
Maybe you
talking.
can clarify
Bitches do
this
be
for me.
shopping.
So
That's
as
it.
someone who
That simple.
on January 6th as maybe
That
an
fucking
onlooker,
simple.
you know, I saw this and my immediate reaction was that this is infuriating, and that we needed a securitized response to stop what was happening. You know, the main difference that I see is that I don't see disinformation at the heart of LA. I do see disinformation, conspiracy theories, perhaps the runaway of this nascent new right media, all being at the center of January 6th, where I interpret that to be people that intended or would have gone along with and were hoping to be sort of an accelerant towards the overthrow of the US government and the overthrow of the democratic process. So to me, I don't totally see how
What are you
these
talking about,
situations
little
aren't even
bro?
miles apart.
What the fuck are we talking
Okay,
about?
So, well, a lot of this seems like this is about a subjective feeling about, you know, what the justness is of a riot. People riot over sports stadiums or in
They
sports
do.
stadiums because of, you know, someone losing, even someone winning. People riot over televisions. Now, I'm not
Is it
saying,
just
I'm not
me, or does
equating
the
all of
audio
these,
kind
but
of
I
sound
mean,
like we're
I
getting
think to
stabbed
call
in
a
the
spade a
fucking
spade is
ear?
perfectly fine here. So I mean, like one of the
Kinda
things you
feels
brought
like
up
that.
is that, well, this protest or riot was it originated from a feeling of injustice. Well, that may very well be true, and I can grant that. But there are a lot of people on January 6th who felt that the election was stolen. You don't have to agree to that, and we can kind of, you know, squash that to the side.
You know what?
and
It
do what
was
you do.
stolen.
But
The
if you're- if
you know
you're-
what?
If you're the kind of person who went there to protest,
I'm
you also
convinced.
felt that there was
Fucking Biden
injustice.
lost. All right,
I
I
don't
am.
think that is really
After what happened in
I think that's kind
2024,
of
I am convinced. Okay,
arbitrary
stop
thing
the
to
steal.
base
All
the
right.
definition of a crime
Trump is actually illegally
again,
the president right now.
justice system
Okay,
has to
he
be
won his
Now,
term in
regardless of
2020.
misinformation,
Okay, so
that may
like
very well be
But the
true. I
justice
actually
system.
don't.
that's
no,
my
wait,
opinion.
Let
So
me,
stop the steal. Donald Trump shouldn't be president right now. He won in 2020.
Doesn't
Okay,
have to be that.
that's my opinion. Stop the steal,
this
guys.
This is true when we're seeing, you know, you can actually study and track the rise of disinformation and whatever fake news was, which was just lies. And you see this, and it's really difficult to separate an event like Jan 6th, where with, you know, like I mentioned, we've had protests against Trump since January 20th. And I'm not seeing on the left, I'm not seeing disinformation. I'm seeing the same causes Democrats have been beating the drum on. And so I didn't mean to bogart the end of the argument, but I still see, you know, a 30-mile gap and a 20-mile bridge. It's difficult for me on the left to not be sympathetic, but it's also difficult for me to be sympathetic towards what I see as a nondescript version of reality.
Okay, but at this point, go ahead. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, that was far more civil than I expected, which is good, I guess. All right, we're just gonna go right into the judging. Tyler, where you at on this?
All right. Well, I'm just going to go with the invalidating point. I think won it just because to sum it up quick here. Your only distinction between the two that you highly elaborated was disinformation. I think his argument that these people still felt like they were in the right, they weren't aware that they were consuming disinformation. So your argument about the intent for one side being the reason why it's not bad, blah, 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 but the intent for the other side, despite the fact that they didn't know because they were being lied to, somehow invalidates their intent, even if they felt like they were in the right. I think he kind of took down your argument in that exchange right there. Otherwise, you guys were having a good back and forth. It was really hard otherwise to pick a winner. These are getting real good.
Who did you pick?
Oh, Tim, sorry. I keep fucking doing that, my bad.
And I'd be happy to continue this too. I don't want to interrupt the the thing you got going though.
Yeah, we'll do it
I
on
was
Wednesday.
going to
We'll
leave.
We'll
All right.
revisit it because this
look,
is now much more interesting.
You
now
and
that,
I,
we
we're
have
on the
everything
same
going on
page right
in
now. I'm
all
going to be
these different
leaving.
places.
It's just
But,
stream
go
gets cut
ahead,
at 11. All right, so that's what I'm waiting for.
Gibbs, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Wait, sorry, I lost Tyler. So that was Tim, right? I just want to check because I'm on
He
mobile.
invalidated one
I
of your
heard that right.
arguments. That was the core to your argument. I didn't hear a good response to it.
Yep. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go with Tim. I think he was a little more articulate. He kind of had more substantive points, in my opinion. He went down the line pretty simply. I think he refuted most of your points. I didn't, especially when he talked about specific case law and then comparison to the local level, the national level, and the historical aspect of that. I think it was a very good synergy, and I think that won it for me for him, in my opinion. But overall, very close. Yeah.
Anson.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I feel like I'm the odd man out on these judging stuff, but my favorite line of this was when Tim said, this is about a subjective feeling of justness, right? I mean, from my perspective, that was like a fortune cookie line he was reading off, or he was trying to, present an image of somebody hugging a therapy llama or something stupid like that, right? Right. So, and y'all said he was more articulate.
The fuck is a therapy llama?
Like, word salad bullshit.
Is that like the
from
fucking
from his opening? Like
the fucking treasure pinata from Fortnite? Is that what that is?
Meandering. And Duck
I would consider that a therapy pinata when I get like a good gun, like a legendary gun from Fortnite. Yeah, that's a therapy pinata. I like it.
So I think Duck won that.
Based.
Okay, so Duck, you gotta say goodnight. But honestly, before you do, I want to say, I thought that was really good, and it was a better back and forth than I expected. You guys were, and I honestly thought that Duck, I thought you were going to go off the rails, and I was really concerned. Because I wanted it to be a really good back and forth.
When have I gone off the rails, Grid?
The other night when our discussion, you kind of went off, but it's fine, it's fine. So, but you have
Duck is on the rails.
Give you
Duck
that.
is always on the rails.
Yeah.
Wait, someone pull up the clip, please. I think I have the clip. Yes? No, I'm just kidding.
No clip.
No clips.
I think it was
only
it was
mags, no clips.
If we had more time, I would
remember
be
that
glad to go
meme?
into
That
more
was a
case
good
law
meme,
and
guys.
historical
Charlie,
precedent.
I think I'm gonna, and I normally kind of agree with Anson, but I'm gonna disagree with him.
I don't know why I did
Duck,
that.
I thought that you just rambled a bunch.
That's called ADHD, guys. That's just. I feel the energy build in my chest when I'm watching these people, and I just need to go, You ever feel that? Do you ever just sit there and just like,
and then you would pause, and then you would start talking instead of you weren't like really mixing it up, but that's okay. I understand this is a unique format, and it's a little interesting to get used to when you're trying to do 5-minute rounds. So,
do you mind if I sign off, Grid? And then I'll drop down.
Go ahead, Duck. Have a great rest of your night, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Try to eat some meat.
Yeah,
man.
if you guys are in chat, check the XP leaderboard. I'm at Ducks Y. Progressive takes on politics. If you guys want to follow, I do geopolitical stuff. I do politics. I do philosophy. I do some science commentary. So all that stuff there. And so yeah, check it out and have a great night. Take care.
Based.
Bye.
Vertical streams, and he's got some tinfoil hats to make. Okay.
You have a good night, man.
Grid, I'm also heading off
Keep
as
in
well.
touch with yourself.
It's not even joking about the tinfoil hats. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what I heard was that Patrick, you've got to sign off. Anson, you had paid for him to be back. I don't know how you want to handle that. We could just like put that in the pot for a 1v1 at some point. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Just
I'll
let
just
me
wait.
know. And
I'll keep waiting.
But now we have Clovertac versus Kel. Not really sure why we have that debate. That would have been a matchup that I would have picked, but okay, it'll go there. I would have picked Abe versus Kel, honestly.
What? Because you have mercy on Clover? What? Come on, please. Come on. You're messing with the wrong one. You're messing with the wrong one.
He has
brother.
a weak heart, so.
Cool. Yeah, I can tell by him not camming up, pussy.
Grid, I'm heading off. It was a pleasure being on here. I really appreciate you having me on.
All right, man. Hey, yeah.
Very good showing, by the way.
Stay till the end.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you did really good today, by the way.
Yeah, good
All right,
debates.
appreciate
good
you.
debates.
I'll come around again later. Thank you very much for having me. I'll be around. Thank you very much.
If you're lucky, bro.
Fair enough.
Check out that housing document I sent you on Discord.
I very much will. I was actually looking at that a second ago. I'm looking forward to reading that. I appreciate you, man. But until next time, guys. See you later.
We'll see you.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right, guys. That's it. That's fucking it. That's all. That's the stream. That's it. And I left right at 11, dude. Right at 11. That's fucking based. So there we go. There we go. And we got to say bye. We did all that good shit. There we fucking go. So that's awesome. Yeah, and one of the judges, fucking Tyler, sent me a Google Doc. I'm gonna read that shit. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be based, okay? So yeah. I'm gonna hop into the Discord for a little bit for the fucking after party. But before I hop into the Discord for the fucking after party, I'm gonna go grab myself a drink. But if you want to be a part of that Discord after party, make sure to join the Discord and hop in the VC for the after party. But until next stream, guys, I'm gonna be working, so and possibly